Hey everybody, welcome to Captured Conversations, a Haley Phillips photography podcast. I am your host, Haley, and this is your co-host for the day, Apollo. He decided to join me. So some of you may know me as a Chattanooga wedding photographer, also travel. Um, yeah. Do you have anything to say, sir? Good for you. Um, but yeah, some of you may know me as Haley, Chattanooga wedding photographer, Haley Phillips photography. But doing like YouTube, podcasting, stuff like this is something I have wanted to do since I was young and YouTube became like a thing and I was watching it all the time. I was always like, I want to do that. So I just decided to do it. And so that's what we're here today. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what this podcast is about. I'm actually very excited for it. So, yeah, and I'm obviously pretty casual right now. I've got on like leggings and my happily ever after blanket and my Haley Phillips photography sweater, just kind of like chilling out here, chilling out with Apollo. Ego boy. If you feel judged at all during this podcast, I apologize if you're watching, because he judges. So, but yeah, I want to explain to you about like what my hopes and dreams are for this podcast. So obviously you can see I have my laptop here, and I'm obviously going to be using it during this podcast, which is why I have it out. So what I want to do here is I really want to share photographer stories, whether that's wedding, portrait, whatever. Obviously I specialize in weddings, but I do all kinds of stuff, families, maternity, like all of it, seniors, whatever, events. So I want to share photographer stories. I want to share some of my stories. I want to share some other stories. I also want to share brides and groom stories, like things that happened at their weddings. I would love one day to have like people on the podcast, like other photographers, other wedding vendors, brides and grooms. I would love to do that. So if you're interested, let me know. And then I just want to talk about photography in the industry. That's kind of a side thing I want to do. I really want to tell stories. And for now, we're going to start by reading Reddit stories. And if you have a story you want, feel free to like message me because I would love to share your story. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into our first story. So I don't want to read too much of the stories ahead of time because I want y'all to experience it with me. I want to experience it with you. And sorry if I seem like I'm a little scattered. This is the first podcast, so I might be a little bit all over the place as I figure things out. Like this cord, I don't know where I'm going to put it, and I've decided to put my laptop in my lap, and so, bear with me. Also, if you can see like a cord over there, I had to plug the camera in, so I had to have a cord, and then my extension cord's on the floor. I literally have zero place to put it. Oh, thank you for the kiss. Sorry. I have no place to put this cord down here, so it's just going to hang out. And this is my living room, by the way. Welcome to Casa de San Anastasio. Also, that's my last name in case y'all didn't know. It is not Phillips. I am a married woman. So, it is San Anastasio. But yeah, this is my house, and this couch cushion keeps falling out, so that's why it looks like it's jutting forward. That's another thing I really wanted to do with this podcast was I wanted to be myself in my home. Are you leaving? Our co-host quit. Don't drink my water. Sorry, he was real interested in the water. Bye. Well, he stayed around for a little bit anyways. But anyways, speaking of water, I'm going to grab me a sip of water. Okay. So, I was on Reddit and I came across this thread. And it is just titled, "What are some of your craziest experiences as a wedding photographer?" And I was like, what a treasure trove. So instead of reading multiple Reddit posts, I think today I'm going to read this one. And this comes from r/wedding photography by user underscore 467. Like their name is user underscore 467. So here's what it reads. As wedding photographers, we truly see it all. The good, the bad, and the crazy. I love swapping stories with other photographers. What are some of your craziest bridezilla, mind-boggling behind-the-scenes experiences? Things that make you laugh? I've had more than I can count, but I had one recently where the bride and groom did not want to see each other till the ceremony. I respect that. Here we are photographing a massive Catholic church. The property is a campus type setting. My second and I are photographing the groom and groomsmen outside on the right side of the church. We are not in view of the road, driveway, parking lot, windows, doorways, etc. It's a 6-minute walk from the parking lot. We are in the garden area with a tall fence. The bride and bridesmaids are to arrive on the left side of the building soon. We are snapping away at the groomsmen shots when suddenly the coordinator finds us and is furious. The bride is steaming mad and will not get out of her vehicle. I am confused. She knew we would be photographing the men outside in this exact area. I stop what I'm doing, walk to the parking lot, locate the bride's vehicle, and walk about 15 feet from. I locate the bride's vehicle parked about 15 feet from a side entry door. I tried to calm her down kindly by stating the groom is not remotely visible. He's in a spot where and I discussed when creating the photography timeline. You would have to you would have to have extra strength Superman X-ray vision to see this dude. Long story short, she actually refused to get out of the car and take the 20-second walk to the door, had mom and the bridesmaids cover the SUV windows with blankets and clothing so she would not be seen, could not handle the thought of her and the groom even being outside at the same time. Yeah, that does seem a little intense. I don't know. What do y'all think? Because for me, I mean, it is so often that I'll have like the guys on one side of the building, the girls on the other side of the building. If you can't see each other, I personally don't don't see that it's a big deal. Now, if they could like kind of see each other in the distance, that would be one thing. So if it's like there's like super far away so you could see like a tiny bit of them, then I'm like, no, that's not okay. But if it sounds like there was like a whole fence in the way, and unless somebody was intentionally trying to go out of their way to see, then that's not okay. Like, or then it's okay, sorry. If unless somebody's trying to go out of their way to see, that would not be okay. But if it's like visually you can't see each other, I personally don't see the big deal. And especially since it sounds like they went over, the photographer OP created this timeline with the bride where she wanted them to stand. Did the bride think that she was gonna like teleport inside? Like, I don't know. I haven't really had any situations like that. Most of the time, most of my couples will do a first look, so I don't really run into that. But yeah, that's kind of intense. Let's see. Let's go to the comments, check out some other stories, and see if anybody has any responses to OP. Oh my gosh, sorry, I just read this next comment. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I would do. Okay, so T Lizon with two Z's says, I had a groom's father die of a stroke an hour before the ceremony. That moment still haunts me. I was I was there when the medics told everyone the bad news. Oh my gosh. I've had I guess you could say, similar situation where I was associate shooting, so I didn't know these people like at all. I was associate shooting a wedding, and the grandfather, it was super hot, like Tennessee summer, I believe. And it was hot and humid outside, and I think the grandfather like started having some kind of slight medical episode, woozy, passing out, maybe it was like heat exhaustion or something, and they took him inside and everything, to my knowledge, was okay. We just finished the family photos at a later time. But yeah, that would be so crazy. Someone to die, especially, I mean, anybody die would be horrible, but the groom's father. I'm wondering, like, was he already dealing with health problems, or was this out of the blue? Like, either way, it's horrible in general, especially to happen on your wedding day. But yeah, this commenter has a little bit more to say on this. Someone asked, did they proceed with the ceremony of reception? That's a good question. The commenter says, yes, they did. Or sorry, they did. They left it up to the mother of the groom, and she said, in our culture, we celebrate life and don't grieve in public. Okay. So we're going to get through the day and figure it out tomorrow. That's a really, really strong willpower. I don't think I could do that, but I guess kudos to you, I would say. I ended up taking the couple away during cocktail hour for more portraits. Instead of them joining cocktail hour like they planned, I figured they didn't want to hear the sorry for your loss for an entire hour from their guests. I actually just saw them as guests at another wedding this past weekend, and they mentioned how thankful they were that we did those portraits during cocktail hour instead. That's actually a really good idea. This is a similar situation that I had, but I had one situation once where, so I was photographing a wedding, and this was like a smaller wedding at a smaller venue. They were not like a couple in their 20s, a little bit older than that. I really couldn't tell you how old they were. I believe they had teen or grown children in the wedding, but that could be wrong. Um, but during, so ceremony happened, everything was great. Everything the whole day was pretty great. We go to the couple's portraits and wedding party, and either the coordinator or maybe a sister or somebody walks up to me and comes up and whispers in my ear and says something to the effect of, the caterer got the date wrong. They won't be here for another couple hours. Can you keep the couple busy? I think it was like one more hour from, I think the catering was going to be an hour late. So maybe it was like an hour and a half or something. And I was like, absolutely, I will do my best. I told them, don't tell the bride. I don't want her stressed out. We'll just keep her occupied and tell her the food's not ready yet. I don't know if anybody ended up telling the bride. I can't remember. But I did wedding party pictures, and we were on like a farm kind of dealio. It was a barn wedding. And so I kind of walked them around, and then we did their introduction and their dance and let them mingle with guests and stuff. And then the food was ready. And so it kind of worked out. But that's kind of a similar situation where something had gone wrong, and it's up to the photographer to deal with the situation and go and like distract the couple to some degree. So, it doesn't bother me to take those extra steps and do that. I mean, I was already going to be walking them around. I just maybe did a little bit more to distract them than maybe I typically was. Typically, I kind of check in with my couples a little more like, hey, I want to get the photos, but like, if you need to go back to your reception, this is your wedding at the end of the day. We can cut it off wherever, you know? But that time I just kept going, oh, well, we should go over here. We should go over here. And that couple, they were great. They were super nice. I want to say I do think that she found out. But it was fine, I guess. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Next commenter, Frazier 10K says, I'll keep it short. I photographed a couple's wedding over the summer. The couple had bad chemistry, namely the groom. He was not a happy dude. The bride was stoked for, sorry, I read stoked and we just read a story about a stroke, so I was a little frazzled. The bride was stoked for the big day, though. I delivered the sneak peek and she loved them. A few days later, I got an email from her saying, found out he's been cheating for at least 2 years. LOL. But I'd still like the pictures with my girls and family if you could. Thank you so much. Girl, that's some willpower. I would literally be telling the photographer, don't give me any of those pictures. Don't give me anything. Can I like maybe hire you for some family pictures instead or something? That's insanity. I don't know what I would do. So kind of a funny story. So my husband and I don't know if you know anything about me. So I am married. His name is Chaz. I don't know if you can see the corner over there. No, you can't. When I was headed up earlier, you could kind of see a few pictures over there. But his name's Chaz. We met when we were 14 and 15. Started dating when we were 17 and 18. Got married when we were 21 and 22. And so I told him, I was like, if you leave me at the altar, if you do anything to make this wedding not like worth it, like I find out like a year later you cheated or anything to that effect, I will sue you for the cost of the wedding. And I'm dead serious. I don't know how that would have worked out, but I am dead serious. I would have sued because I'm like, this is not funny. You just cost me all this money and for me, all this time. Because since I'm a photographer, I actually bartered with a lot of vendors for my wedding. So like for hair, I did some work for her and she did hair for us, for example. I did that with several of my vendors. So if you're a photographer, I highly suggest bartering. And I was kind of afraid to ask at first. I just like posted in a local wedding group and I had so many people like say like, I'm interested. And so yeah, like 100%, like we used to be a society that would do stuff like that. Like I'll give you bacon for some eggs kind of dealio. So I'm all about that. All right. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay, I this was just really quick. So this is from Sir. I don't. That almost feels like a bad word, so I'm not gonna read their name actually. So we'll just say Sir S. It may not be. I may just be silly. Once I had a groom tell me, and I quote, "If you don't stop taking pictures of me, sorry, if you don't stop taking pictures me, I think it's supposed to say of me. If you don't stop taking pictures of me, I will throw your camera in the ocean." I feel like that kind of falls with in my contract. It's like if I'm being harassed or threatened in any way, I have the right to leave. Would I leave? No, probably not, unless I like actually felt like my life was in danger. But I would for sure like have my guard up. I guess I would. That is not okay. And I feel like if someone did leave, I would almost understand. But I before I left, I might talk to the bride. I don't typically like to bother the bride and groom on their wedding day, but that's like concerning. I I do not like that. I do not like that at all. See if he said anything else. So someone asked, that would be when I would make, or someone commented and said, that would be when I make eye contact with the bride and ask her what she thinks. Sir S, the OP of this comment, says she was off doing her own thing at that point. I just started using the 70 to 200 so he didn't know I was photographing him. Ninja mode activated. Okay, that's smart. I would still be scared, but like that's smart. I could not if my husband ever said that to somebody, I would think there was something like for real wrong with him because that is not okay. I feel like that kind of falls into line with some of these stories I hear of guys like on a first date and he like yells at the waiter or like treats like a female wait staff bad or something like that. I feel like that kind of falls under this line and I don't know if this OP was a male or female. Not that it matters because that's still unacceptable behavior. All right, let's see what else we can find. Okay, so here's this. Wow, this person has a lot of situations. Unfortunately, so this person, Hopopo, however you say that, is saying that they're from New Jersey, New York area. So let's see. Oh, wow, that's kind of intense. Okay, so he says, or she, I'm not really too sure. I was inside the church filming a wedding when New Jersey COVID lockdown started. Wedding reception was canceled on the spot. I don't, I feel like I always imagine COVID lockdowns being like, we're going into lockdown effective as this date. Like, not like a, it is activating right now, like, red alert. Like, I don't know. That's so interesting. Did any of y'all experience anything like that with COVID lockdowns or anything like that? Because I did not know that was a thing. That's crazy. All right, his next comment or his next little story: father of the groom had a heart attack at the reception or as the reception was starting. He survived but was taken away by ambulance. Oh my gosh, that's so intense. Like the other story we read, this father did not die. Fathers of the groom apparently need to watch out. That's so intense. Oh, here's another father of the groom story. Okay. Father of the groom got drunk, and 10 minutes after the wedding reception finished and everyone was packing up, he starts to harass the bartender to give him more alcohol. The best man, groom's brother, runs up to him and starts yelling, "Why do you have to F up everything?" Fist fight starts and the cops are called. Whoa. That's pretty intense. At least, okay, this is me being the optimist I am. At least it was at the end. Oh, wait, no. Yeah. The father groom got drunk in 10 minutes. So this specific occurrence happened 10 minutes after the wedding. But if he was drunk, I'm wondering if there was other things he was doing throughout the day or throughout the reception or whatever that kind of messed up other situations that were happening. Like if he was kind of being belligerent throughout the reception. But hey, I mean, kudos to that brother for standing up for his brother and his brother's bride on their wedding day. Not that I really want people fist fighting. I was at one wedding where fist fighting, I think, happened. It was like the second wedding I ever shot alone. The first like real wedding I ever shot, like more traditional wedding, more high dollar kind of wedding. Um, Because my first wedding was just like, meet us at a cabin and we're going to say I do kind of dealio. The second one was like at a venue and I was there for 8 hours and there was getting ready and all that stuff. Um, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, fist fights. um, but I was walking out of the bride's getting ready room and I just see two groomsmen or maybe a cousin, like some male individuals, like being pulled away from each other, and a door slams. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna yawn. And a door slams, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I believe someone said there was a fight. I was like, "That's not my business," but like, I'm also here for the tea, so like, tell me what's going on. Okay, so let's go to the next story from the same person. Just another comment. Like I said, they had a lot of stories, and I'm here for it. So, father of the bride. So, instead of father of the groom this time, we got father of the bride. So, we're changing it up a little bit. Father of bride, drunk, during the speech tells a neighbor who is a guest, I kissed your wife first in front of everyone, thanked him for coming to the wedding. So, the father is like up here, like giving a speech, like, oh, I love my daughter. By the way, neighbor that's a guest at this wedding, I kissed your wife. Could you imagine? I could not imagine. I don't know what I would do. Sorry, I'm just thinking about that. Like, I'm just standing there, like, with my camera, and I'm just like, this guy is so drunk. Like, he's probably saying all kinds of silly things. And then he's like, by the way, Steve, I kissed your wife. And, like, I'm imagining that, like, the neighbor who I have now named Steve and his wife are, like, sitting together at the wedding. Maybe not. But that would be so crazy. And what would the bride be doing? Oh my gosh. Putting myself in the bride's shoes now. I feel like I'd just be like, or like, what if she already knew about it? And like, was the father of the bride married? I need more details. That's pretty crazy. Okay, the next one. My first. Okay, I don't know this word. Bukharan. I don't want to try to pronounce it because it's going to be horrible. Jewish wedding. So it's their first of that kind of Jewish wedding. Working for someone else, so it's associate shooting, I'm assuming, or second shooting. Groom is a firefighter. Is a little bride is a borderline little person. That's an interesting phrasing, but okay. Neither will let us inside of their hotel room for over 3 hours. Our crew is 4 people. Groom finally lets us in and tells us someone lost his suit. That sucks. That is why he wouldn't let us in. We grab a groomsman's suit, get him dressed in 15 minutes. As we are walking outside, someone shows up with his suit. The groom changes his suit but refuses to go on camera again. The suits are different colors. Oh, that sucks. We get to the venue and there are two more videographers and one photographer waiting. Guy whose job this was said it was a backup in case someone got into an argument with the family. So, are we saying that there are 2 more videographers and photographers waiting, that they are the backup, or this was a backup suit? I'm not too sure. The bride is clearly self-conscious and takes at least 30 minutes to get her to start taking photos. Oh, that's really intense. After 15 minutes, she's relaxed and enjoying it. Well, that's good. We start taking group shots. Mother shows up and starts yelling that guest must eat first. Weird. Cocktail hour is 2 hours away. There is no food. She refuses to take photos and does not allow father, I'm assuming father of the bride, her husband or whatever, to take photos either. Guys whose job this is loses his crap at her. I didn't really follow that completely, to be honest, but it sounds like a dumpster fire, if I'm being honest. I'm like, why are there 2 more videographers and 1 photographer waiting? Or so it's the backup in case... Because they are so bad, in case the original media team was like, I can't do this anymore. They're just going to like trade shifts. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. All right, the next one is the same kind of wedding, the Bukharan Jewish wedding. This is his second one. Bride and groom refuse to take photos with the family. Everyone is freaking out at everyone. That's hilarious. Older guy walks in, looks like a gangster from the late 70s, early 80s, comes up to bride and groom and tells them to take photos and not make a scene. They do it. Turns out he is an MC entertainer, and everyone respects him. Reception starts, and us, band and photo and video, have a table. Bukheran brings a lot of food and alcohol to the table to start with, and then keeps on bringing food nonstop for hours. Mother of the bride tells the waiters not to serve us anything because we won't work. Owner of the venue stops by about an hour later, sees the MC and orders waiters to bring everything, including bottles of tequila. Okay. Yeah, if somebody was saying that I don't get food because I won't work, I will get food, or I guess I won't work. If you don't give me food, I won't work. It's also in my contract, like, you feed me, I'm here. I can't go anywhere. At least where I live, most of the venues I shoot at are in the middle of nowhere. Like, if I, oh, sorry. If I was going to drive somewhere to get something, I might have to drive like 30 minutes or more. And usually I'm sitting down for like 15 minutes max. Sometimes longer, sometimes less. I mean, it really depends on the day. Sometimes I have had weddings where I'm like eating in like intermissions. Like, I start eating, I don't finish. I go and do some photography. I come back and continue eating and resting. Because honestly, receptions, I don't really need to be there that long. Like, it doesn't take me generally that long to get what I need. So I can kind of like intermission my breaks. Um, this poster says that because of their experience with that kind of wedding, they never did another one. They also have crazy stories about a bunch of different groups of people. One of them was a bear on a golf course in New Jersey. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I really haven't had like any horrific. Okay, I will tell my one kind of crazy story that I have been thinking of a lot lately. So back in last November, so almost a year ago now, I think it was, unless it was December. I really don't remember. Actually, it might have been December. So back last year, I was second shooting, and everything was going great. So typically, when I walk in a like getting ready suite, I have my backpack and I've got my drink and maybe like something else, like sometimes my purse. Usually, I like lock that in the car and just bring my wallet with me. It just kind of depends. But this day, I had like, oh, and I've also started carrying around a lunchbox with a bunch of waters in it for me, which I guess that's another crazy story. But I set my stuff down, set my drink with my backpack so I don't lose it. Well, it was like under this table is where I put everything, and people were sitting around the table. I don't really care. And so I go over to the table, I grab my drink. I think she was an aunt. We're just gonna say she's an aunt. She was just another lady in the getting ready room, kind of a same age as like the bride's mom. And so she says something to me, like, "Oh, do you need any more drink, maybe, or something like that?" I don't remember. And I was like, "No, I'm good. Like, I've got my sweet tea here. Like, that's all I want and need." Making a joke. And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know why I said it. I don't remember what prompted it, but I said something like, 'Yeah, I usually just find a place for my drink and I'll just come back to it periodically.'" And she was like, "Yeah, well, my son, he got in trouble for putting stuff in girls' drinks one time. Just unprompted. I don't know who her son is. At this point, I'm kind of scared. I'm like, okay, I think I actually did keep my drink with me for the rest of the day because I was like, that's not okay. But I was just like, holy smokes. Why did you say that? And this wasn't like the groom's mom or anything. No, 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 no. The couple was so sweet, so kind. They were just genuinely just like there for everyone. Oh, Apollo is in the floor trying to kick my stand. You can't see him, but he's like right here. Instead of being up here on camera and being cute, he is in the floor. Whatever. But yeah, have you ever like had a situation like that before? I think if I had been solo shoot, actually I don't think I would have done it. I don't know what I would have done. I don't think I would have done anything differently. I just kind of was like, "Oh, that's not good." I just kind of said something like that. But yeah, All right, let's do a couple more of these, I think, depending on how long they are. Let's see. Okay, here's a really short one. Brother of the groom went missing at an outdoor farm wedding. 2 hours later, he comes crawling out of the woods, drenched from head to toe, suit pants ripped, and he has no recollection of what happened. And then this person says, I shot that brother's wedding 8 years later. And oh, I forgot to read the name by T Bay Megs 150. That's doesn't remember. Okay, that immediately I'm like, lie detector's going off. Doesn't remember. First thing I thought was like, did he have a lady out there with him, and they were hustling and bustling, and his suit got ripped, and that's why like he was drenched. Like if it was hot, it's a farm, you know. I don't know. Someone below says no recollection. That's pretty sus. Was he blackout drunk already, or did he get abducted by fairies? The OP of this comment says, yes, very drunk, but let's go with aliens. That's a better story. Yeah, we can go with aliens. Drunk. I mean, I could definitely see somebody wandering off drunk, gets lost in the woods, finds their way back, but I could also see a lady friend going with and them hustling and bustling, you know. Okay. Let's do, I'm thinking this one last long story, and then maybe that'll be it for today. So, this one is by Brains Beauty Brawn. At last, I have a good tale for Reddit. My very first wedding. No story starts out good that way, y'all. If you are a wedding photographer, think back to your first wedding. I'm sure you would probably not take that wedding today. That's pretty intense. Mine was. I mean, everybody was nice, but yeah. Anyways, back to the story. My first wedding that I ever shot was on a golf course. Okay, that's actually pretty hopeful. Mine, like I said, was at a cabin in the middle of the woods, and I'm really glad I didn't get killed. Um, and post ceremony, we were shooting the bride and groom's couples portraits when one of the groomsmen, as well as the pastor who performed the ceremony, decided that the alcohol at the open bar during cocktail hour was not good enough for them. We live in a rural community with a golf course at the end of a long road up a hillside, and the entrance to that road off the freeway, there was a liquor store. Okay, that's like a lot to describe where this is going. So both the groomsmen and the pastor decide they're going to drive to the liquor store to pick up a bottle of their favorite drink and bring it back. The only problem was both of them had already been served at least 2 drinks. Okay. I mean, does it depend on? Okay, I'm not a drinker. I'm first thinking like, okay, are they drunk? Are they intoxicated? Like, was this enough to do this? I don't know what their tolerance is, but obviously, drinking and driving is a 100% no go ever. That's my comment, not reading. Let's see. Well, 30 to 40 minutes later, cocktail hour ends and the guests are herded into the dining hall for the grand entrance. Apollo, do not kick my tripod. His paw is like right on the base of it. We'll start lining up the bridesmaids and groomsmen for each of them to have their own dancing moment as they come through the door before the couple. And then we realize that nobody has seen one of the groomsmen for about 40 minutes now. Oh my gosh, I'm having like a bad feeling about this. At first, we assumed they were in the bathroom, or possibly that they'd gone out for a smoke break and didn't realize how long they'd been gone. Groom says he absolutely cannot do the grand entrance without his groomsmen there as well, so we hold the grand entrance, go to the reception, dinner, and all for about an hour while looking for the missing groomsmen. Kids are screaming, adults are hangry, half the wedding is already drunk, and there's still no idea when dinner will actually be served. People are starting to get concerned at this point, wondering if he got lost and what happened to him. Yeah, for real. He seemingly up and vanished. Finally, a little over an hour after the grand entrance was supposed to happen, we get a call from the local police department. Okay. Our missing groomsmen, as well as the pastor, had snuck under the radar. Snuck under the radar as we were all frantically looking for the groomsmen. They were both sitting in the drunk tank. Both had been arrested for a DUI just down the street heading to the liquor store. Moral of the story, don't leave a perfectly good free open bar to go pay extra for a DUI. that is a good moral of the story. Yeah, don't drink and drive. So I will give him my story, and then we can wrap up, because also my laptop is trying to die. How much time do I have left on this thing? Hello, please tell me. Oh, okay, we're good. So here's my story. So I was shooting a wedding. Um, this was up on a mountain at a country club, and they had like this bus that brought in some people. I guess there were some people from out of town, and this was like kind of a rich people kind of wedding. Like, it was at a country club, you know? And so there was like a lot of wine ants, if you get like the vibe I'm talking about. Like, older women who got drunk off their butts, and they were like dancing. It was hysterical to watch. I mean, I loved it. They were having a great time. I have a whole nother story about food from that wedding, but I might save that for another podcast episode. Can't give away all my stories. Um, but they were doing their thing, enjoying. Well, they do the sparkler exit. One of these wine ants. So sparklers on each side. The couple is coming up the middle. This freaking wine ant steps out with her phone, stumbling right in the middle. And I said, "Lady, move! You're in the way. Like, get out of here." She does. But then everybody starts going to their cars. These people were hammered on top of a mountain. Like, and this mountain was like one of those that you're like going like this to get off. It's like very twisty roads like this, and it's like pretty steep and like very close to the edge. Most places have guardrails, but that doesn't always mean everything. But yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, because not all of them came on the bus, or maybe not all of them were leaving on the bus. Some of them did, and I'm like very glad. Good, please. And if you're that drunk, you should just take the bus, I guess, into town, and then get you a hotel somewhere. Like, there's got to be something available. Call for an Uber. There would be Uber. There's no like taxis in this area. At least I don't think. But yeah, no, that was kind of a crazy situation, and I felt like guilty. Like, there's nothing I could have done. Like, I guess I could have called the police, but I mean, I guess I couldn't confirm that they were drunk. I mean, it really seemed like it anyways. But yeah, I just felt like so sad. And I was also scared because I'm about to drive in the exact same direction as all these people, and I am not trying to get hit by a drunk driver. So yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, that's going to be today's podcast episode. Thank you so much for, if you made it this far. If you did make it this far, comment an emoji down below. Comment like a camera emoji down below so I know that you made it this far. This is on YouTube. I don't actually know where. I think I'm going to put this on YouTube, but I might upload the audio other places. So obviously, I guess that wouldn't be for you because I don't think those places can have like comments. But anyways, if this is on a platform where you can comment a camera emoji down below so I know you made it this far. Like, subscribe, do all those things, follow. I'm really excited to bring this. Like I said, I want to do more of this format, but have different posts on different subjects. This one was just kind of my niche, wedding photography, lots of people's stories. I want to do other stuff. I want to hear from brides and grooms. I would love to have other people come on this podcast, other local photographers, brides and grooms, even just people who like have gotten married or whatever, or just even just other people in general who want to like process these stories and listen, and like they can ask questions. Like, if you're not a photographer, you could enjoy like their perspective. But yeah, I super hope that you enjoyed this, and make sure to comment down below if you can. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you next time. Bye!